Here we got another one right here. You can see the SWAT team going in right there.
12 people left dead and 31 more injured in what appears to be the worst mass shooting at a U.S. military base. The attack happened at the Soldier Readiness Center at Fort Hood in Texas. All the victims are said to be U.S. soldiers. At a news conference, Lieutenant General Bob Cohn explained what's understood to have happened.
A shooter entered what we call the Soldier Readiness Facility, where soldiers who are preparing to deploy go for last-minute medical checkups and dental treatment, etc. Shooter opened fire and essentially, due to the quick response of the police forces, was killed. At this time, the numbers that we're looking at are 12 dead and 31 wounded, and they're dispersed among the local hospitals here in the Central Texas area.
One shooter's thought to have been killed and 2 suspects apprehended. There are reports the slain suspect was a Major Malik Nadal Hasan, who's understood to have been an Army mental health professional. It's not yet known whether he was treating soldiers at the base. President Barack Obama's called the shooting a horrific outburst of violence.
My immediate thoughts and prayers are with the wounded and with the families of the fallen, and with those who live and serve at Fort Hood. These are men and women who have made the selfless and courageous decision to risk and at times give their lives to protect the rest of us on a daily basis. It's difficult enough when we lose these brave Americans in battles overseas. It is horrifying that they should come under fire at an Army base on American soil.
Home to about 52,000 troops, Fort Hood has now been locked down. It's not the first time the base has seen violence in recent years. In September 2008, a 21-year-old soldier shot his lieutenant to death and then killed himself.
Called the mosque this afternoon, and as soon as the story broke, and I got a voicemail. There was no one answering. They said, to leave a message, and I left a message for someone to call me back, but no one got back with me. But yeah, there is a mosque nearby, yes.
And Octavia, Tracy saying that the store owner and he had a conversation about his deployment in which the major expressed concern and sort of philosophical or religious concern about being deployed and potentially having to be in a confrontation with another Muslim. Is that something that the store attendant talked to you about?
No, that did not come up really. Okay. The interesting thing that came up is the fact that the way he described how the major is very particular about the Friday prayer, that he went himself and he asked the owner, and it seemed to me from the conversation that the store owner was trying to distance himself from that. That's why he explained to me that he always gave excuses. So he always said, basically, I'm busy or something like that. He also said that they couldn't talk much because the major would come in during a very busy time for the store owner. He came in the morning and he said that's a very, very busy time. Everybody is in for coffee. But he stressed the fact that he knew him by name, that he served him every time he came, and that he knew him. He was just one of the regulars there. He felt very comfortable coming in, chatting around, sitting around, reading the newspaper. And he said this morning he saw him. They didn't have much of a conversation. But he told me that he looked fine. He looked very normal. So when he heard the news, he said he was shocked. He could not believe it. And as a matter of fact, Anderson, he said as soon as he heard his name, he knew who they're talking about. He said, of course, it's not such a large town. It is a military town. And he said he knew him as Major Nadal, and that was the name that was used, and Major. And he said, of course, how many Major Nadals are there? And he went straight back to look at his videos, and as soon as he saw the pictures flashed on TV screens, he said he compared them, and he was shocked because he said he saw him in the morning, and he looked fine. He looked normal. Nothing seemed to be wrong with the man.
I had planned to make some broader remarks about the challenges that lay ahead for Native Americans as well as collaboration with our administration. But as some of you might have heard, there has been a tragic shooting at the Fort Hood Army base in Texas. We don't yet know all the details at this moment. We will share them as we get them. What we do know is that a number of American soldiers have been killed, and even more have been wounded in a horrific outburst of violence. My immediate thoughts and prayers are with the wounded and with the families of the fallen and with those who live and serve at Fort Hood. These are men and women who have made the selfless and courageous decision to risk and at times give their lives to protect the rest of us on a daily basis. It's difficult enough when we lose these brave Americans in battles overseas. It is horrifying that they should come under fire at an Army base on American soil. I've spoken to Secretary Gates and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Mike Mullen, and I will continue to receive a constant stream of updates as new information comes in. We are working with the Pentagon, the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, all to ensure that Fort Hood is secure, and we will continue to support the community with the full resources of the federal government. In the meantime, I would ask all Americans to keep the men and women of Fort Hood in your thoughts and prayers. We will make sure that we get answers to every single question about this horrible incident, and I want all of you to know that as Commander-in-Chief, there's no greater honor, but also no greater responsibility for me than to make sure that the extraordinary men and women in uniform are properly cared for and that their safety and security when they are at home is provided for. So we are going to stay on this. But I hope in the meantime that all of you recognize the scope of this tragedy and keep everybody in their thoughts and prayers. Again, thank you for your participation here today. I am confident that this is going to be resulting in terrific work between this government and your governments in the weeks, the months, and years to come. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.